we have got a beginner's workout for you today. You should have some handouts to go along with that. You may find it helpful just to use the handouts or just to use the video, or some people like to do both at the same time. So I provided you with different options. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the warm-up. It's the page with a little rainbow on it. And then from there we're going to move, just flip it over to the other side. It starts off, it says posture. So those are just some warm-up moves. Next we'll move into our upper and lower body workout. So it has a lot of different pictures on it with people doing different things. And then on the other side it starts off in the upper left-hand corner that says seated core exercises. So have these handy if you want them. If not, just simply follow along. I'm going to include everything that's on here in this video today. It's always a good idea to kind of get your supplies together first. So you want to have a chair, a kitchen or dining room chair or folding chair works great. Something nice and sturdy with no arms on it to do some of the exercises. The other thing is if you have like a pole or like a broom handle, that works. If you don't have that, you can do the exact same thing with just a simple hand towel. You're just gonna hold it nice and straight like that. It's a good idea to have two different types of weights. A lighter one and a heavier. Right here I have a 2-pound and a 5-pound that I'm going to be working with today. I'll let you know which exercises you probably should have the lighter weight and which ones that you should easily be able to use the heavier. The other thing that we'll be using here today is a band. And if you need it, you can use an anchor, a door anchor that is an option. Or for me, right here, I have a rack with all my weights on it, so it's not going to tip over. Or if you have somebody that can hold it for you, or if you have like a banister in a stairway, you can use that as well. Also, you want to have water. At the end, we are going to do some core stuff on the floor. It's going to start off with a lot of core stuff, standing and seated. If you decide you don't want to go down on the floor, some people really they feel uncomfortable down on the floor. You don't have to do those at the end. But if you do, and if you want a mat, that's an option as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. You want to be able to be near a wall for our warm-up. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your hands against the wall, and you're going to step your right foot forward. So your knee is pointed. And you're just going to go ahead and just go forward and back with your knee. What we're doing here is we're warming up your ankles, which is really important. And I'm just going to do everything 5 times today. And then after you do those 5, you're going to bring your knee forward towards the wall, and then you're just going to make a horizontal line. So you'll feel your foot go in and out. And then you're going to go ahead, and it's kind of a rotational move. What you're going to do is you're going to start your knee kind of like from the outside of your shoe and come on in, and then go back out. So it's not a full circle. It's more like tracing the top of your shoe, or like making a rainbow. It's just, or an upside down U. But it's not a full circle kind of thing. And again, you'll feel your foot kind of moving in and out. And then you're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the other side. So we're going to go forward and back. So the wall is just here for support. You're not like really doing a wall push-up or anything like that. It's just basically for your balance. If you have really good balance and you want to keep your arms down, you can certainly do that. And then you're going to do that side to side. And you want to look straight ahead. At the beginning, you probably look down just to see what you're doing. But once you get more comfortable with it, it's a great idea to keep your head up and elevated. As we get older and unsteady on our feet, we tend to look at the ground more. So you really kind of have to train yourself to be comfortable keeping yourself up. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to move into kind of a knee and hip warm-up, but we're still going to have the left knee in front because we're working on this right side. So at this point, you want to think of your hips as headlights. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring everything up towards the wall and then everything away, like you're trying to sit down. So that back heel lifts and then sit back down. And just go down as far as you're comfortable. If you've got cranky knees, you don't have to go back down as much. And then you're just gonna keep here with both heels on the ground and you're gonna go side to side. So it's kind of a swaying movement. And then you're gonna go ahead and add rotation. So I tell people it's like the wash machine agitator. So you're gonna be taking your hips this way. You're not making like a full circle. You're not making, so it's just, you're gonna kind of take your torso and shift it. And then we'll go ahead and do the other side. So we're coming forward and sit back. And 2. It's a good idea to maybe look at this, especially the warm-up portion before you try doing it on your own, because otherwise you're going to find yourself kind of trying to stare at the video. And then now we're going side to side. When we do the strength stuff in this chair, you can certainly do that for the first time without having to preview it. And then that little wash machine agitator. 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so next, if you have a pole handy, go ahead and grab it. You're just gonna keep it here in the front. Sometimes you see people do an exercise with things in the back, but I found a lot of people kind of have a little bit, you know, that kind of computer hunch there. So then I find that it's up around people's necks. So just go ahead and keep it here. You just kind of want to keep, it helps keep your torso in line. And like I said, if not, you can just go ahead and just use a towel and just hold it nice and taut, okay? So what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna do, everything's the same. It's forward and back. So when you come back, you wanna come back a little bit like a baby back bend. So take it down. This really opens up your hip flexors, which we tend to, if we're seated a lot, or maybe going for a long car ride or something like that, they get really gumped down. And that's what gives us a lot of knee, hip, and back problems. All right, and next you're gonna go side to side. So, and allow your hips to move. Knees should be soft here. You should not lock it down. So almost think of yourself as kind of like dancing, very fluid movement. Because you want your ankles moving, you want your knees moving, you want your hips moving. This is part of your warm-up, so you definitely want things moving, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and, really important to have your knees soft here. You don't want to put any stress on those knees. And just rotate around. Good. Okay. Next, we're going to work on some torso work. So you're going to take that warm-up page and you're going to flip it over. And what this is, it's type 1 and type 2 movements, it's called. And you can do supported with the wall helping you out or away from the wall. So you'll have to kind of practice with it and see which one you find better for you. But what we're going to do here, I'm just going to be working on this side just because I want to be facing you to start off with. So your feet are going to be pretty much parallel to the wall. When you're first doing that, if you want to toe in towards the wall a little bit, it might be a little easier for you. But what you want to do is, what you're doing is you're taking your hips and you're rotating them towards the wall. And you're just going to put this hand here to support. And then what you want to do is, so here, so you're just rotated back, and then you're going to go ahead and laterally flex. So you're going to do a side bend with a rotation, and then you're going to take your hips forward and back. This is really good for your shoulders. And if you find it's putting too much tension, you just get a little bit closer to the wall, and then side to side. Again, you can see my knees are moving. And then you're going to do that rotation, that little wash machine move. Okay? So So I'm going to turn around, my back's going to be towards you, but you'll be able to see it at a different angle. So here I am rotated to my right, and then I'm going to laterally flex to the right. So rotation and flexion are to the same direction. And then go ahead and take my hips forward and back. And you can just do it like 5 or 6 times, whatever feels right. You want to do enough so you actually feel a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of movement. And then side to side. And then some rotation here. Good. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to come back here. So what you're going to do now is that you're going to rotate. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rotate to my left. And then you're going to laterally flex to the opposite direction. So again, you want to kind of get a little bit closer to the wall and go ahead and take those hips forward and back and side to side, and that little bit of rotation. Okay, and then we're going to flip it around the other way. So here I am rotating to my right, and then I'm going to laterally bend to my left. And I'm going to take my hips forward and back, and side to side, and rotation. Kind of feel like a pretzel a little bit here, but it really gets that whole thoracic spine moving. Now, if you feel comfortable or you feel kind of like close in on that, you can do the same thing standing away from the wall. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I don't want to make this video last forever, but if you just think about it to yourself, if you're rotating, and I'm going to mirror you, so I'm going to say right, even though it's my left. So you're going to rotate back to your right, and then you're going to laterally move to your right. So that is a type 2 movement because they're together. And then you're going to rotate to your left and laterally flex to the left. Again, knees are soft. It's almost like a little dancey pose, going side to side. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to rotate to the right and laterally flex to the left. So your rotation's in one direction, your flexion is in another. And then you're going to go ahead and go to the left and laterally move to the right. So that's just another option. And we'll go over this together as well because it is a little confusing. So next we're going to work on coming against the wall, and it's a good way to check in to see how your spine is doing. So for some of you, you may be here, you may be really reaching back. It's fine, but your goal is to try to get your shoulder blades on the wall, the back of your hips and pelvis are against the wall, and I recommend having your feet a little bit out so you don't have to have your heels exactly against the wall. And then you're going to go ahead and you can just bring your arms out like a T and really press the back of your hands against the wall. And you can do this a few times during the day. It's a good kind of stretch for you. And then you're going to go ahead and you can bring your arms down a little bit. And you're going to go ahead and press your palms into the wall. And the handout says about 10 seconds. And then you can go ahead and have your palms down. So you can, depending on how your shoulders are, you decide where your hands will be. Certainly the lower you go, the easier it is on the shoulders. So you may want to start off here and eventually work your way up. But now it's almost like you're doing a karate chop into the wall. And just hold that there. Okay? All right, so that was kind of your warm-up. So you're actually, you should have done the front and the back of that first page. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move right into our exercises here. And today we're just going to run through everything one time. As you progress and you want to do this, more than one set, I'm just going to scoot my chair over a little bit so you can see me better. And some of these, if you're more comfortable doing them standing or seated, you can decide what you're going to do. I'm going to kind of just mix it up just so you get an idea. And the way I've designed this is that you do an upper body thing and a lower body thing. So if you look at the chart here, you're going like left to right, rather than do that whole column of upper body and then the lower body. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to do a shoulder press. I recommend that you do a lighter weight because most of us have kind of cranky shoulders, but certainly you do what's comfortable. Having your palms facing the screen here, that's the most stress on the shoulders. Bringing your palms so they're parallel to each other is a lot less stress on the shoulders. So you decide what works best for you. And here we go. So we're pressing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now that's really too much for your shoulders. Another thing you can do is an upright row. So your palms will face your thighs and you just pick up your elbows and lift that up, almost like a little butterfly wing. So since we're here, we'll just keep on going. I'm on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Next, we're going to be doing a squat. You can do this with weights, and you can just kind of come down to your chair and come on up. If you're a little unsteady on your feet and you feel more comfortable doing it kind of against the wall here, you can hold on to weights, or maybe the first few times you do it, you don't hold on to any weights. And if you have cranky knees, sometimes putting kind of a wedge in between your knees can help. If you happen to have a yoga block or a ball, you can put that between your legs, or you can just take that towel that we used at the beginning and just gently put it just above your knees here, and you're gonna just squat on down. So again, you can be against the wall or not, but you really want to think about like you're sitting in a chair. And we're gonna look straight ahead. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to give you a few more seconds in case if you didn't get started as soon as I did, okay? So make sure you do your 12 because those squats are really important, okay? All right, so next we're going to do a bicep curl. And again, if you have 2 different types of weights, size-wise, you're going to go with a heavier one here, okay? And again, this is a little harder if you have your palms both facing forward, palms facing each other. A hammer curl is a little bit easier. So you decide what's easier for you and what works best. Each day you may feel a little different. One day you're a little stronger than another day. But just bring it up to your shoulders, just an elbow bend. Right. And we'll say this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. And make sure when you put your weights down that they're in a safe space. Don't put it anywhere right where your feet are going to be. You certainly don't want to fall while you're doing your workout. So next we're moving on to a hamstring curl. If you have a chair, you can use that, or you can use a wall, or if you're like in a kitchen, you can just use your counter. And if your balance is really good, you don't have to use anything if you don't want to, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and just bring our heel up to our backside. 3, 4, 5, 6. Try to look straight ahead. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now you're going to go ahead and keep that leg straight, and you're just going to lift here. And again, look straight ahead. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the other side. 1, 2, 3. If this puts some strain on the back of your lower back, you can bend your knee a little bit, but make sure the movement's just coming just from the back side. And let's do 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay, so next we're going to do a tricep kickback. You may want to grab your lighter weight for this one, but you want to make sure you're hinged over. So knees are bent, you're hinged here at the hips. You can use your chair for support, and your elbow's going to kind of be glued right to your side. So you're going to take that weight up towards your shoulder and then kick it back. So, and once you know what the movement is, go ahead and just look down in the ground in front of you. You don't want to be staring at the screen because that'll put some stress on that neck. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. And then you're going to turn around. If you don't have a chair, but you just have the wall to work with, you can certainly just bend those knees, hinge, and then kick it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, great. If you want to grab a sip of water, you can do that right now. And we're going to get back down into our chair. We're going to be doing some leg lifts. The first one, your leg is bent. I'm just going to turn here so you can see. And it's a good idea not to have your back, you don't want to be slumped back here, just doing it like this. You want to be seated up nice and tall, really engage those core muscles. If you want to kind of have the genie arms happening here, or just rest your hands here, wherever they're comfortable. You're going to try not to clutch onto the chair. If you need to at the beginning, that's fine. But you're just going to go ahead and just lift it up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now you're going to straighten that foot out and lift it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. All right. Next, we're going to do a chest press or a wall push-up. So you're going to come over towards your wall, and you're going to be like 1.5 feet away from the wall. And then you're just going to go ahead and just bend those elbows and bring it in and push it out. So really think about yourself pressing away from the wall, like you're pushing that wall away from you. And you're going to straighten out those arms. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. your weight. So what this does, this works your glutes, your back side. So you're going to go ahead and just hold the weight so your palms point towards your thighs. And then your knees are going to have just a little bitty bend in it. And you're going to just go ahead and just take yourself just about down to knee height and then stand back up. You want to try to keep a nice straight back. Again, you can look straight ahead and then look down at the ground as you come down. When you come up, you want to squeeze a little bit. Just be careful you don't sway back. That's a mistake some people make. And down and up. I'm going to hold on this 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good. Okay. Next, we're going to do our, I call my lawnmower pose. So you're going to be in that same position that you were in for your triceps. So you're going to be hinged over, and just like you're starting a lawnmower, so your hand is down here, and then you're pulling back, like you're pulling back that cord on a lawnmower. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, there you go. All right, then you're going to turn around. I'm just going to show you the modification on the wall, and you're going to go ahead. Just make sure you're hinged over, because if you're standing here, you're just working your shoulders, and I want you to work that big butterfly muscle in your back. So go ahead and hinge over, knees are nice and soft, and we're pulling up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. Okay. And now next we're going to do a seated leg press, which this time we're adding the band to it. Okay, so you're going to take your band. Now it can be a band like this, or maybe what you have is a flat band. Maybe something you got from physical therapy at some point. This will work just as well. Actually, it's almost a little better for this exercise, because then you don't have to worry about it rolling off your foot. All right, but I'm going to show it to you with the tubing band as opposed to that flat band, but know that you can use either one. And you want to make it pretty tight. I'm just going to turn so you can see it. So you're going to be here, and you're pressing out like that. So it's not just a knee bend like that. It's pull it in like a leg press machine. Maybe you've tried it at the gym before. So 3, 4, sitting up nice and tall. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Great. Now we're going to go ahead on the other side. Bring it up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, maybe you want to get another sip of water at this point. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing our band presses and our pulls here. So this is where you need to anchor it down a little bit. Like I told you at the beginning, I have a little anchor happening here. But you may need to stop the tape here, the video, and get yourself situated. But you want it underneath your armpits. You're going to go ahead and do like a little, I don't know, like a little bird or something, because you're going to put the handle right in here. You want a staggered stance, because it's going to try to pull you back. And you're going to look straight ahead, and we're going to press it out, straight out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And certainly you can adjust how much resistance the further you are from that anchor point behind you. And then you're going to go ahead and turn yourself around and go ahead and little squat position and go ahead and pull it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looking straight ahead, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good. All right. So that's the band workout. And then the next is a lateral step out. So this is really important because it really works like that inner and outer thigh. If you're not real stable, my suggestion is that you do this with little support from the chair, or you can actually even do this against the wall. But I'm going to show you what you're doing. You're stepping out. The knee that steps out bends, the knee bends. So you're going to take it out and come back to center. Now, if your balance is pretty good, this is a great way to practice your balance and come up on the one foot. So take it out and center, and 3, and 4, and 5. You're going to try to keep your toes pointed straight forward if you can. If that bothers your knee, you can go ahead and tweak it in or out, whatever that unity of those two bones coming together feels okay to you. And I'm calling this 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good. And now we're going to go to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Great. While we're here, this is the ending of our strength portion, but if you'd like a little extra work on balance, here's a couple things that you can do. You can certainly try standing on one leg and doing that. If that seems really easy, you're going to go ahead and try to move your arms while you're standing on that one leg. And if that's easy, go ahead and close your eyes. That really will add another dimension onto that. But the goal is while you're standing on one leg, is to move around, because that's going to strengthen up that stance leg and give you a little more stability. Okay? Other things you can do is you can stand heel to toe. And certainly when you start off, you want to go ahead and have it so you're not right heel to toe, that you're staggered a little bit, and then work your way in. And just practice that again, moving the arms. And then your goal is do it with your eyes closed. And certainly do one side and the other. Okay? So that was the strength portion. If you feel like, wow, that was a lot for me, you can certainly stop the video now and come back to this. This next part is your core, or your abdominals and your kind of mid-lower back region. Some people say your core goes all the way from your chest down to your knees. They consider that the core. Some people feel like, oh, it's just working my belly. Whatever it is, it's really good for stability and balance. As well as it can really help some people with back problems and knee problems by keeping that core nice and strong. So what we're doing is we're moving on to the back side of that strength one. So the beginning part is just seated core. And this is something you could do every day if you wanted to. So you could just find this part of the video and just do it every day if you want. The strength training I do recommend every other day as opposed to every day. That's generally the rule for strength training. It gives you a chance for your muscles to kind of rebuild and heal a little bit. So, all right. So what we're going to do is that we're just, again, if you're seated in the chair, you do not want your back against the back of the chair, and you're just going to do some diagonal reaches. And it can be up high, it can be down low, over to the side. Just really kind of wakening up the torso, especially if you're doing this workout and you haven't done the warm-up or the strength training portion. This is a great way to kind of wake up that torso. You know, if you've been sitting watching television for a while, this is all kind of shrunk down and stiff. So we want to open it up a little bit before we get moving. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do torso circles. So you're going to take your torso down to your thighs. You're going to lean to your right, lean to the back, lean to the left, and make that big circle. And we're just doing that 3 times each direction. That is 2. And that is 3. Let's go to the other direction. So you're going to go to your left, back, right, and down. Left, back, right, and down. One more. And left, right, back, and down. Great job. Next, you're going to go ahead. I like you to have your hands here, but if that bothers your shoulders, you can just keep your hands here. Whatever works for you, but this is almost like a sit-up in a chair. So you're going to lean down to your thighs, and then you're going to lean back so you're almost hitting the back of that chair. If you're sitting in a stool that has no back, just be mindful how far back you go, because you don't want to topple yourself over in the back. So take it down and take it back. So you should feel your abdominal muscles kicking in a little bit there. 2. And 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9. Let's go to our 12 that we've been doing all day just to stay consistent. So that would be 10. This is 11, and this is 12. Good job. All right, next you're going to do a seated side bend. So if you do happen to have your weight still with you, go ahead. You can grab that heavier one. The other hand can be up here, it can be on your shoulder, or it can be just resting here. It can be resting on your thigh, wherever you'd like it to be. But you're just tipping yourself to the side and then coming back to the center. So you're not going whoop, whoop, whoop. It's just down and then come back to center. Because you've got to use that core to keep it nice and stable. So just drop it down. And you want to try to stay even, almost like you're in between 2 panes of glass, as opposed to leaning forward or leaning back. People that have taken class with me, sometimes I do have you lean forward and back. But for today's purposes, we're not going to do that exercise. That will be saved for another day. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And go ahead and switch. Sit up nice and tall and take it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Great. Okay. Next, you're going to do genie arm twists. So you're going to be just like a little genie here, and we're going to rotate to our right. You want to take your eyes with your torso. So 1. So once you know what I'm doing, you don't need to look at the screen. You're going to take those eyes with you. That will give you more rotation and also will keep your neck in alignment with your spine. So we're just doing 6 that direction. We're going to go twist 6 in the other direction. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's go back to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. but it's also good for the lower abdominals. So what you're going to do is you're going to take both feet to the front and to the back. So forward and back. Now remember, we don't want to be leaning back, right? You want to sit up nice and tall. Your hands can just be here. If at the beginning you need to hold onto the chair to help out a little bit, totally cool. All right, forward and back. So really working those belly muscles. You should feel it working. And make sure you're seated up nice and tall. At this point, especially if you've been working with me through this whole video, at this point you might be getting a little tired. All right. And let's give ourselves 3 more. 1 and 2 and 3. Great job. All right, so that was the seated portion. If that's just what you have in your comfort zone, that's great. You did plenty for your abs. If you want to keep on moving and you feel comfortable doing, next we're going to do 2 exercises that are standing core. And, oh, that's right. So you want to grab that band again, preferably the one with the handle. If you don't have one with a handle, you can certainly just wrap it around your hand, but I call these sword pulls. So you're going to go ahead and put this over on your hip. Make sure you give enough slack because you're going to be bringing it all the way up like that. So you're going to be here, and just like you're pulling a swashbuckler, pulling it out of his pocket, you're going to bring it up and around. This is great for your obliques, the side muscles. 3. And if your shoulder is bothering you, you can just go ahead and just keep it more of a rotation so you're not even getting your shoulder into it. All right, and I'm going to give you 5 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, keeping those knees nice and soft. The body's fluid, everything works together, so it's almost like a little dance. All right, we're on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Great. The next thing is called a pull-off press. Not sure why it's called that. But again, you want to have that side anchor, and you're going to go ahead, you want a nice firm stance so your feet are a little bit more than hip distance apart. You're going to pull it so you feel like it's yanking you to the side, and then you're just going to press it out. So you've got to use all those core muscles to prevent yourself from being sucked over to the side. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, and I'm going to turn around. Unfortunately, you're going to see my backside, but here we go. We're pressing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good job. All right, so that was the standing. The next portion is we're going to be down on the floor on our backs. So again, if that is not in your comfort zone, you do not have to do this part. If you want to watch and see what sort of exercises there are for you on the floor, you can keep it rolling, whatever you'd like to do. So put a mat down or a beach towel if you want, or if you're on a nice carpeted floor, there's no worries. You don't need to have anything on there. I'm just going to get my weights out of the way so you don't have to see them. So the first thing we're going to do is bridges. So if you've ever taken a yoga class or something like that, you may have seen this, but you're going to be on your back. Your feet are on the floor, your knees are bent. Your arms are right along your side, and you're going to lift those hips up and down. And you can also do this by putting 2 little dumbbells on your hips right here. Gives you a little more resistance. But for today, we're going to keep it nice and simple. Another thing you can do is you can put a block, a yoga block, or that towel between your legs. So as you're coming up, you're squeezing those thighs together. That gives you a little more bang for your buck. And I'm gonna say we're on 6. I know we're on more than that. But this is a really good exercise. So 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. All right. And then the next one is leg drops. So you're going to be here. Your shins are going to be parallel to the floor. And you're going to go ahead and drop a leg down and bring it back up and drop it down. Now for some people, this does aggravate their back. If you want, you can tuck your hands underneath, kind of like in a little triangle, underneath your hips to keep it lifted, and that can sometimes help the back here. If it really aggravates your back, no worries, you don't have to do this exercise. You've still done a bunch of core already today, but if you can modify it to make it work for you, it is a really good one for the kind of the lower abdominal muscles. And let's go ahead, we'll do 4 more. So this would be 1, so right and left is just 1, and this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4. Good. All right. So from here, you need to get yourself up onto all 4s. Now, if you have some people being on your knees is not an option for them, but here's a couple things you can do. You can take, if you have a yoga mat, or you can roll it up and put your knees on the cushy part. Or the other thing you can do is you can actually go ahead and put your shins on there so your knees are actually elevated off the ground. So there's no pressure at all on that kneecap is an option. But what you want to do is you want to stack your wrist right below your shoulders. You're going to take that left leg and stick it out behind you. And then you're going to take the right arm in front. Basically, you're just going to stare straight down at the ground. And you can hold that here, really pulling that navel center or belly button up towards the spine. The first few times you do this, you may find yourself toppling over. First thing you want to do is check in and make sure it's opposite, that you're on your right knee and your left hand, that you're not trying to take both out on the same side. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to switch it over to the other side. Just make sure that your wrists are right below those shoulders. Your thumb wants to be up to the sky, giving yourselves a thumbs up. But really what that does is it keeps your scapula where it needs to be in that shoulder girdle. And as you progress, you can go ahead and bring elbow to knee for this exercise as well. Bring a little movement in there. And then the last thing we're going to do is our Sphinx pose. So we're going to be down here on our bellies. And our elbows are going to be right along our ribs. And you're just going to hang out there for a little while. This is a great exercise to do at least once a day, as long as it doesn't bother your lower back. If you're really stiff and everything, this will dump into that lower lumbar area. In which case, you can just work your way towards it. You can just kind of get so that part of your chest is off the floor, and eventually work your way all the way up. Right? And then from here, we can just go ahead and press ourselves back. This is called child's pose. Can be a very comfortable position for some people. For some people, that bend in the knees is too much. Some people put a little pillow behind their knees. All right, so after you've done all this, you should have another handout that includes It says cool down stretches right at the top. Just in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through all those today. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. You've probably done them at one time or another. If you haven't and you have questions, let me know. I actually even have a YouTube video that includes just a whole thing on stretching. And I can certainly send you that link as well. But thanks so much for spending all this time. Remember, you can always break this up into smaller portions. It really hits the whole body from head to toe, and I really appreciate the fact you taking the time out of your day to make yourself stronger and make yourself more comfortable. All right, take care. Have a great day.